Thanks for the visit. My name is Chen, and the name of this farm here, or what we are doing, is called Wormies, and we are making compost by composting with worms. It's called Vermicompost, and we also make soil mixes, compost teas, all trying to do it naturally. Yeah, so when you're composting, you have to make a mix of your browns and your greens. So your browns being like leaves, wood chips, dry things, paper, cardboard, and your greens being fresh food scraps or green leaves and things like that. So your browns are usually your source of carbon, and your greens have more nitrogen in it. So here we have different types of wood chips and some manures that we use in our mixes. Principles of composting. When we are composting, we are using aerobic bacteria, or trying to keep the compost being aerobic, right, with oxygen. So this system here has a pump underneath with a PVC pipe with holes, and the pump just shoots the oxygen out for a certain specific time, and we put that mix in here with some manures and some more wood chips, depending. You have to really measure what you're putting in, all your percentages of greens, browns, manures, and then your water, your moisture. So you have to measure your moisture. Then you decide, okay, what type of manure did I put in? Chicken, cow, alpaca. How does that heat up? What amount of nitrogen is usually there? I don't really have work with them. I work on experience. I learn, and then I know, okay, chicken manures get hot. With all the beans, it goes up to 140.
Wow.
So having 3 of these here, it gets really warm. It's just like a sauna because with the sun and the beans and the moisture. So we just leave them here for 2 weeks, and this 2 weeks is what we call pre-compost process. And then we take it out of here and we feed it to the worms. All these rows are worm rows. We have worms in there, and we make these rows for the type of compost that we make, vermicompost. We are more focusing on um, the bacteria, the fungi, all the benefits that the worms bring to the compost, right? So we here at Wormies, we are not so much focused about, okay, getting this kind of nutrients, NPK, minerals into our compost. Like, we don't have a set recipe that's gonna give us this kind of NPK or this kind of. So here we are, for now, just focusing on harboring the specific amount of bacteria, specific amount of fungi, the levels that we want.
So rather than creating it specifically to have a measured amount of minerals, you're focusing on the microbiology, the soil biology content.
Exactly. How to keep the microbiology alive, how to keep it up. And nitrogen, potassium, and calcium is usually what we focus on when we are farming. When you bring those elements into your garden, that's going to affect your plants in certain ways. It's going to help your plants grow, your roots. But actually, all these minerals are present everywhere. In a tiny spoonful of sand, you can find all these elements, and in great amounts. So you actually just need the bacteria to mine that from that sand, from those pebbles. So that's what we are doing here. We are creating a compost that's high on that army of microbes, bacteria, hormones that are gonna mine that from that type of soil. So what the worms bring into play is a specific set of like bacteria, enzyme, hormones that they have in the gut, and when they process the material here and they poop it, Then all that's going to be encapsulated in a little balls of amazing stuff. So, and at the same time, that little ball also contains a little bit of minerals. So it's sort of like a little pellets, of fertilizer with probiotics. Um, Even also that compost, yeah, you can make it uh, rich in nitrogen, rich in potassium, depending on how your mix is. But when you are working with worms, they usually bring everything to a balance. But this is a finished pile. So yeah, this doesn't have any plastics. Everything is really homogeneous.
Mm.
Yeah, I like how it looks. There are still worms in there. Worms really like the manure. It's like the safest input for them. They love it. At the beginning, I was trying to avoid manures. I don't know, because it was too easy. But then at some point, I decided I need to make something, because with only food scraps, the worms were not happy. The food scraps are too volatile. I was like, where are the worms? They will go somewhere else. They will not stay in the pots always. So as soon as I changed the recipe and started putting manures, they are a lot more happy there. So I think the most important thing is how everything you do, you always do it thinking, okay, how is this gonna help or create something better, regenerate.